Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is Demayim in Atlanta, and I'm on the website endtimeheadlines.org. And I saw this article. I come on here often, gives some inspiration for topics, and they have good articles on here as well, which check them out. But I saw this, and just the headline of it, it's like, man, that is confusion. And then you get down to the rest of it, and it's just more Christian garbage, Christian confusion that they put out. And so today, let's try to weave through and get true understanding to what they are speaking about. And so you look at from the top, it says Trump to unveil Board of Peace, headed up by 10 leaders. Let's just go ahead and read through. It's just this one paragraph right here. Because ultimately, there's a YouTube video of him going into this, but even just by the headline, you know it's not going to be truthful. But it says, opinion, President Donald Trump is set to reveal what he is calling the Board of Peace, which will reportedly include approximately 10 Arab and Western leaders who will work alongside an international executive board composed of former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, Jared Kushner, U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff, and other senior officials from contributing countries. This is what he is calling his send phase. Slovakia. 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 This is what he is calling his send phase to achieve Middle East peace. Tonight, we will discuss how we could literally be witnessing the establishment of the 10 kings of Bible prophecy that must be established before the Antichrist emerges out of the midst of as the little horn seen by Daniel and called the beast by John. And so you see, this is confusion. For some reason, like even with the Antichrist stuff, it's crazy that it says there's many Antichrists, but Christians, even when they're told that there are many Antichrists, they still put that imagery into their head, and they put it out into the world that there's just one man that's going to come and lead the world astray, when it's all the people. It's the people, anyone who is against the truth of Yahweh Shai Mashiach. They are anti-anointed. And these Christians, man, they keep trying, bless their little hearts, but kidding, not kidding. No blessings for them, because these are enemies. They have skewed the doctrine, so no mercy for them. These are wicked people. Once somebody is told and shown, hey, you're celebrating pagan holidays, hey, that is not the name of the Lord. The J is the newest letter within the alphabet. Hey, that's not the image of the Lord. He's not described as that. He's described as having dark skin. Hey, not everyone can be saved. The Edomites, their whole seed line gets taken off of the earth. Read Obadiah 1 and 18. Read Isaiah 63. And all these things go over their heads. This book is not for them, but for them to a lot of them know they're celebrating pagan holidays, but they continue to do it. A lot of them know that the doctrine is skewed, and they continue to do it. That makes them wicked. These are wicked individuals, so no mercy to Christians. I can't wait for them to get their comeuppance. No mercy to them. And the Christians make up part of the blinded. If you're a Christian in 2025 going into 2026, you are of the Lord's blinded. There's no truth within that. It's just veiled paganism and idolatry. It's really really Satanism. Some do what thou wilt stuff. But getting from there, going back to this article, it says President Donald Trump is set to reveal what he is calling the Board of Peace. So let's address that. Isaiah 48 and 22. There is no peace, saith the Lord, unto the wicked. The wicked are the Edomites, so-called white people, including those tiny toppers that are in the Lord's land, calling themselves the Lord's people. Those are the wicked, according to Malachi 1 and 4, the border of wickedness. These are the Edomites. There's no peace for them. There's no peace in this world. It's just not going to happen. They don't want peace in the first place. Their blessing is the sword, and they would live by that sword. And so, if the sword's gone away, how are they going to live? There's no peace coming for this earth until Yahushua comes. Then there will be peace, and these people on the screen right here will be moved out of power. There's no peace because these people are in power. That being both the Edomites, they're the sword of the Lord. There's not going to be any peace. And the Ishmaelites, these are heathen. Yes, the Edomites are the wicked. They're the ultimate wicked, but the other nations are wicked as well. And there's no peace to the wicked, says the Lord. So they're creating a board of peace. It says, which will reportedly include approximately 10 Arab and Western leaders who will work alongside an international executive board composed of former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, Jared Kushner, U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff, and other senior officials from contributing countries. This is what he is calling his sin phase to achieve Middle East peace. It can't happen. There is no peace unto the wicked. And this wicked in particular are spoken of within the scriptures not for bringing peace, but for bringing a sword. Revelation 6 and verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red. Who is red within the scriptures? Esau. Esau came out red all over like a hairy garment. That's who it's speaking of. And horse goes into power. This is, and power was given to him. And Job 9:24 says, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. The wicked being the Edomites. Donald Trump is an Edomite. Or Nero is an Edomite. As well as the rest of his people, so-called white people, including the tiny toppers. These are the wicked that are in great power right now. And I will say, not every single so-called white person or tiny topper is an Edomite. They could come from, through their father's lineage, from another nation. Or they could come from the nation of Israel. They could be Israelites. But for the most part, the majority of what the world calls quote-unquote white people and those tiny toppers, for the most part, those are Edomites. Those are Idumeans. But as it says, you'll tell the Spirit by the Spirit. So some of them actually are Jake. Some of them are of another nation. But yeah, for the most part, that is Edom. That's that red horse. It says, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And the earth's given into the hands of the wicked, and they did take peace from the earth. You go to, actually, let's get it in First Maccabees, when Alexander came into the earth. First Maccabees 1 and 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule every one in his place. So his 4 generals came up and came into power. It says, and after his death they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. This is the start of the Greco-Roman Empire, particularly the Greco empire right here. Alexander conquered, defeated Darius of the Persians and Medes, and then they reigned in Greece. It says, so did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth, because these are the wicked. Of course, evils are going to be multiplied. Of course, peace is going to be taken from the earth. These are the wicked, and their blessing is that sword. So they're going to use their blessing, which is the sword, to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. That was Esau's blessing, the sword. And that is who Esau is. And so, why would you ever expect peace to exist when the Edomites are in power? You shouldn't, and you won't get it. There will be no peace. There's no peace unto the wicked. And we're waiting for Yahushua to return and to remove these Edomites out of power, put them down, put down all the other nations as well, and put Israel at the top. And then from that point, there will be no more war. Isaiah, the 2nd chapter. They'll beat their swords into plowshares and their pruning hooks, or their spears into pruning hooks. Because instead of putting effort into war, it's going to be all about building up the kingdom from there. No more war once Yahushua returns, or after he puts everyone down. There'll be no more war. Getting back to this article. To achieve Middle East peace, tonight we will discuss how we could literally be witnessing the establishment of the 10 kings of Bible prophecy that must be established before the Antichrist emerges out of the midst as a little horn seen by Daniel and called the beast by John. This is all confusion. So let's address that Antichrist first. So we're going to go to 1 John. 1 John 2 and 18. And it says, little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard, that Antichrist shall come. Even now are there many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. It says many Antichrists, and it ends with an S, so that's plural. There are many, and it's really, this is just anybody who doesn't believe the truth of the scriptures and the actual truth, starting with the apostles and elders of the great millstone. That truth, if they don't believe that, they are Antichrist. And so Christians themselves are all Antichrist. They all say the law is done away with. They all skew the Bible. They've added on and they've taken away. These are Antichrist. They are against the truth. They're against Yahushua. They call on a different name. It's not even his name. So those are all Antichrist. Really all of the other religions, everybody. And then you also have to include atheists who claim to be of no religion, and those people that put science first, and everybody who's not in the truth would be an anti-anointed, anti-Mashiach. So, we got that. And it says, tonight we will discuss how we could literally be witnessing the establishment of the 10 kings of Bible prophecy that must be established before the Antichrist emerges out of the mist as a little horn seen by Daniel and called the beast by John. And so, let's go to Daniel. Let's see what Daniel has to say about the 10 kings. Daniel 7 and 24. The 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And so we could even go back up here and read it again. Salakia, I was trying to read something else, but Daniel 7:24 again. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, because this is going to the Roman Empire, and it was diverse. They didn't have a king like the other kingdoms, but they had a senate. And it says, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And this is America coming up. Those 3 kings go into Spain, France, and Britain. And I really want to read this from here, which we will. But first, let's take a look at this image here. And this is one of the camp signs that we have. And it's going into the beast. It says the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns is NATO. It says the 7 heads equals 7 governments or kingdoms ruled by Esau. And so you've got the Greeks starting from the right. You've got the Romans. You have Germania Major. You have Germania Minor. And then Spanish, the French, and the British. Those make up the 7 heads. And if you remember that whore that's riding the back of the beast, she has this cup full of abominations. And in that cup, that wine that she has are these different philosophies, the different, basically anti-anointed philosophies that this Western world pushes, which that whore is America as well. And you see it right there, America, the great whore, Revelation 17:1. But philosophy, democracy is a lie. It means rule of the demons. Religion, Christianity, all of Judeo-Christianity is a lie. They push out all these other religions as well, even including witchcraft. Here you have idolatry. Christianity is idolatry. These other religions are idolatry as well. And then you have the celebrities that are here. You have women being boosted up as well. That's a form of idolatry. You have these different sports that are here that can become forms of idolatry. It comes in many different ways. Sexuality, that's something that's pushed here and pushed throughout the earth. The lies, all your history is a lie, all your religion is a lie, your science, everything. Western society is a lie. Adultery, and that even goes into a lie because people don't understand what adultery is. Covetousness, murder. These things are pushed out from this place. All because the wicked bear rule. As the king, so are the people. The wicked are in charge, and it's corrupted all the earth. The people are extremely wicked just because the wicked beareth rule. But getting over here, it says the 10 horns represent the common market or the European Economic Community, the EEC, established in 1958. Today, the EEC is known as the EU, the European Union. And so those 10 horns, or those 10 kings, go into Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Spain and Portugal, England and Ireland, because these are both on the same landmass. Spain and Portugal's right there at the tip of the Iberian Peninsula. Spain is just a little further north of it, but both within the Iberian Peninsula. England and Ireland, very similar. Same, right? They're just right there together. And then West Germany. And then you have NATO, is an acronym for North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It was established August 4th, 1949, consisting of 19 nations, all European nations. It says these nations make up NATO, which is the beast. This is the beast. That's the true understanding of the beast. But let's go back here, because in Daniel, he had a dream, and he sees these four beasts rise up, in which, we'll start at the top. Daniel 7:1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. And then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea, and four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. And so the first one, it says the first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. This is the Assyro-Babylonian Empire, and you could even see the first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. That's a griffin. That was big in that culture. But this is the Assyro-Babylonian Empire. Verse 5, and it says, and behold, so that's the first beast. And this even goes parallel to Daniel 2, because that statue is basically telling you the exact same thing as these beasts in Daniel's dream. And it says, and behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it, and they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. So it went out conquering as well. But this is the Medo-Persian Empire. Moving on to verse 6, and it says, after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it four wings of a fowl. The beast had also four heads. That's going into those four generals of Alexander. And dominion was given to it. This is the Greek Empire, and this is when the Edomites first came into power. But you could see these beasts are kingdoms. These are or empires. It's not just a it's not the Antichrist, as they want to say. These are empires. Let's see how you worded it again. Yeah, he said, tonight we will discuss how we could literally be witnessing the establishment of the 10 kings of Bible prophecy. These 10 kings have already been established. We just read them. Those are the 10 heads on the beast. These are NATO and EU nations that are making up these 10 kings. And even when the EEC was started, there were 10 flags for the 10 nations. And then because they saw that this was Bible prophecy, they changed it. And that's why they split up those two, the ones that are on the same landmass, like Spain and Portugal and England and Ireland. Those were, and that's why even here you see it as 10 instead of 12. But these are those 10 kings. It says of Bible prophecy, or the 10 heads, the 10 kings, Bible prophecy that must be established before the Antichrist emerges, which we've established that as well, that there are many anti-anointed or antichrist, emerges out of the mist as the little horn. And this is America, that little horn. It's also that whore that rides the beast. It's also called Babylon. It's also called Egypt. It has a lot of different names. It's seen by Daniel and called the beast by John. The little horn and the beast are not the same. We just went over the beast, but let's go to the little horn and go over that. And we just read verse 6. So we saw that the Assyro-Babylonian Empire, we see the Medo-Persian Empire, we see the Greek Empire, headed by Alexander the Greek. And then in verse 7, it says, after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. This is Rome. Rome was able to do so much damage because of their iron weaponry. This is Rome. It says it devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. So this guy literally read Daniel 7 because he talks about this little horn, and he sees these beasts, but he's still likening these all to the Antichrist. Christians are bugged out and they're crazy, and they should not be touching the Bible because it's only going to hurt them with their warped understanding. But this is the Roman Empire here in verse 7. And these are the 10 horns go into the vassal states back then in the ancient Roman Empire. And again in the new, refreshed, because this is Rome fell and Rome raised back up. And so it's that beast whose deadly wound was healed. And even here again, once it's healed, those 10 horns are made up of vassal states, which are those 10 states we read through earlier. And it had 10 horns. Verse 8, I considered the horns. Horns go into power as well. And it says, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. This is America. This is that beast whose deadly wound was healed, because Rome fell and it rose back up. That's why America was modeled off of the Roman Empire. When the founding fathers were setting up America, they said it, that they were modeling this place after Rome. That's why we have a Senate. That's why the architecture of this place is like it is. Even Washington, D.C., it was taken or established on a place called Rome. And they even had 7 hills there. And it was some guy just owned it, and he was obsessed with Rome, and he called it Rome. This is New Rome, or the reiteration of Rome. You even see the fasci in the house building. I want to say it's a house building. I could be incorrect on that, but you see those put up there, which goes into fascism. This is Rome revised. It says, and there came up among them another little horn, America, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. This is Spain, France, and Britain. You see it. You should understand that too, just through history. And then or that's who colonized this area from the get-go. You have New York, that's British. You got all these Spanish places down here because the Spanish were down in the south. I think it's Florida was Spanish territory. New Orleans was a French territory. You had the Louisiana Purchase from the French. And then you had the different wars that were fought as well, like this Spanish American War, the French American War, and the Revolution War. Those were the 3 horns that came before with those different countries. Plucked up by the roots, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. So these are proud, boastful devils here. It says, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne is like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. This is the last beast. This is the last heathen rulership that will be on this earth before Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai set up their kingdom that is going to rule on this earth. But yeah, I just wanted to go into that just because Christians suck, and all this was confusion. I think we wrinkled some of it out, Lord willing. I'd like to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Chadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.